the cats puff up, or cats puff up, sorry. Taken from her CD, I Heart Jokes, Paula tells them in Maine. I'm Duncan Strauss. This is Talking Animals. Our website is talkinganimals.net. It's nearly time to speak with Dr. Marty Becker. Today's guest, you may have seen Dr. Becker on Good Morning America, The Dr. Oz Show, and you might have read one of his many books. His latest and 20th is Your Cat, The Owner's Manual, and he's here in studio with us today. Later today, by the way, Dr. Becker will be signing his new book in Tampa at the Petco, located at 136 Southwest Shore Drive from 1:30 to 3 p.m. But right now, he's here with us, so a reminder to invite you to join the conversation by calling 813-239-9663. Let's welcome Dr. Marty Becker to Talking Animals. Good morning, Dr. Becker.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. I was just reminiscing this morning. I'm a veteran veterinarian of over 30 years, and I remember I'm almost 60 years old. I remember being back on the family farm in southern Idaho, and the cats had a utilitarian role. They were mousers, basically.
Sure.
They lived in the periphery of the farm in the haystacks with a big old tomcat with a big old thick neck, that resulted from about 50 different fights with other cats.
Right.
But, now today's cats, they're kind of born retired. Which is not good.
Right, they don't have enough to do.
Yeah, very efficient hunters. In evolution, the better the hunter you were, the more you could sleep. And that's why humans, before the advent of dogs to help with the hunter, guns, we could only sleep 8 hours a day or night. And cats, 18 to 20 hours, because they're such lethal hunters. And
Sure.
so now, because of the boredom issues and food is love, 50% of America's cats are overweight or obese, and they're like little tubby time bombs ticking away their health. It's funny in cartoons, but in real life it's not.
Right. Well, that's, I'm sure, among the many things that we're going to try to squeeze as many things. And in fact, one of the things that this brings me to, just because I found it, sort of an interesting way to help address that, maybe talk a little bit about food puzzles.
Right. If you think about cats, it took 5 steps to eat. You had to detect your prey, pursue it, apprehend it, kill it, and then eat it. When you put a food in just a bowl, you go right to step 6, which is eat it. So it's like a kindergarten degree when you needed a graduate degree originally to eat. And in the wild, you don't see any cats laying out there with a big old mouse gut, just going, oh my gosh, I've let myself go. They're
Right.
always hungry. So by using food puzzles, if you're using feed and kibble, they're basically like a slot machine. So the kibble is measured out, put in there, and it has to be turned, spun, manipulated, dropped somehow for the kibble to come out. So you're recreating the hunt in a non-lethal way in the home. And if you're feeding canned food, which is actually what we recommend now, we now know as veterinarians that we've been feeding cats wrong all these years. And cats do better with canned food. And if you start a cat out, you want to feed them different kinds of canned food so they don't imprint on one variety.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if we start out with Crest toothpaste, you tend to stick with Crest toothpaste.
Sure.
You don't want cats to stick with it. But you put it in different portions. So you take individual dishes, or at our house we use Cool-Whip containers. But we just spread that food out in like 6 portions. Some downstairs, some in the upstairs guest bedroom, some underneath the bed. And so the cat has to go look
Work for it. They got to work for it. Yeah. Cool. All right. So now there's a zillion other things I hope to get to with you, Dr. Becker. But one of the couple things we just touched on briefly before we went on air that I think we should spend some time on, sort of right off the bat. A couple things that you had mentioned, some things about coats and just some of the issues that happen with animals, and then also this sort of heartworm story that you were telling me, which kind of I think makes people have to rethink their whole thought about, well, we got indoor cats, we're safe. It's not quite as straightforward as that.
The other day I was on Amazon and I was kind of deflated. Your Cat, the Owner's Manual comes out, and the book that was ahead of it was Crafting with Cat Hair. So, cats are big shedders, and that's the #1 cat owner complaint is excessive shedding. And
Sure.
what I want you to do there is hair is going to naturally fall. Even the hairless breeds, the Sphinx and stuff, they even shed, but the hair is small and kind of crinkly, so you don't notice it as much. But you want them to shed at a time and place of your choosing. So there's a product called the Furminator, which I love that name, like
Sure.
the Terminator.
Yeah.
But the Furminator gets rid of that loose hair on that undercoat, and so it ends up in the trash can, not in you, not augured in by the cat's tongue where it can create problems with excessive hairballs. So it can reduce shedding up to 90%.
Wow.
And if you have allergies to cats, the allergy is actually to a protein in their saliva that when they groom themselves, it becomes part of dander. So the saliva becomes part of dander. Hair is the carrier for the dander, which contains a saliva protein, which actually triggers the allergy. The worst cats for triggering those are black cats. So black cats have about 10 times more of the protein, up to 10 times more than light-skinned cats. So a black, unneutered male cat is the worst for triggering that. For anybody that has cats, to reduce those allergies, just take an unscented baby wipe and wipe them down once a day, just lightly on their coat, and that'll dramatically reduce the allergies that people have. Now, I want to talk a little bit about parasite control, because we all think of dogs. Oh gosh, fleas, heartworm, we're going to give them this medication. 50% of dog owners give their dogs heartworm medication. There's a new study of Gulf Coast cats. It was a year-long study, and they found out that 27% of all cats have been exposed to heartworm. They had antibodies against heartworms, and 10% had a current adult heartworm infestation. Now, to put that in perspective, only 5% of all cats get leukemia. So twice as many get heartworm as have leukemia, and it's a messy disease in cats. It's very, very difficult, almost impossible to treat once they get it. So the point is here, you want to use a preventive for them year-round. So lifetime parasite control, which includes heartworms. So there's products like Revolution that kill heartworms, fleas, internal parasites, and ear mites. I kind of joke it kills everything but the cat, but it's a once-a-month product that provides that invisible whole-body protection. And also a new study coming out of North Carolina State University that shows a link between Hemabartonella, that's carried by fleas, ticks, biting insects. Cats and dogs are reservoirs. And you've heard of cat scratch fever. Remember Ted Nugent?
For sure. Yeah, well, especially lately. Yeah, it's hard to miss him.
Called cat scratch disease, actually. It's the #1 zoonotic disease. That's disease that's transmissible from animals to people. But we used to think it was a limiting thing. Red, swollen lymph nodes, but it passed. Now they're showing a link between Hemabartonella and fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, and rheumatoid arthritis in humans.
Wow.
Now, my wife has rheumatoid arthritis, so that really perked my attention. So they're now having these more, better assaying techniques, and so there might be, it looks like there's a link there. So by taking care of the cat, you're protecting the human family as well by using the Revolution.
Wow. Well, again, some sort of disturbing news again that we talk about off here a little bit. I mean, again, if you're keeping your cats indoors, you just sort of think, I'm protected against this, and this by virtue of them being indoors.
In fact, I didn't even mention that of the cats that were positive, 28% were indoor-only cats. I mean, truly indoor-only cats.
Wow.
They didn't go indoor, outdoor. But what happens if that mosquito gets in, you have to think of it like a drone. I mean, it is absolutely looking for a meal. They're always hungry.
Right.
And it's a dog or cat that gets bitten, it just takes one.
Wow.
Now, on the positive side, though, let me say something positive.
Sure,
There's also a new
please
study
do.
out from the Minnesota Stroke Research Center, a peer-reviewed study. If you have a cat, you're 40% less likely to have a heart attack or a stroke than non-cat owners. So it's related to the, this stress relief, basically, that cat owners provide. And
the calm and the well-being.
The calm, yeah.